Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the surprising connection between concentration and pain. And I am going to talk about things that you've probably not heard before, and almost certainly your teachers in the past or present haven't told you much about this, if anything at all. So before I dive into the topic, I just want to say hello to everybody who's here, and I want to encourage you to make this an interactive, to help me make it an interactive session here. I am here live on Facebook, and I'd love to know where you're from, what your instrument is, and get your feedback on your ideas, in response to what I'm sharing today. So if it sounds familiar, use those emojis and whatever you can do to help me know that you're there, you're with me. I'm not alone talking to the stratosphere here. It's so much more fun. You're a musician, it's so much more fun when you know that you're connecting to your audience. So if you could let me know that this is working for you and you're hearing me, just shoot me a comment. That would be really great. I'm just going to wait one moment to see if this is actually coming through onto Facebook. Just checking my Facebook page here, and it looks like, yes, I am live. And for some reason, I see a like comment from somebody. Here's Tom Smee. Hello, Tom from Toronto. Thank you so much for saying hello. And anybody else who's out here, you want to just tell me where you're from, what your instrument is. I'd love to be able to interact with you as you're here. So if you don't know who I am, just really, really briefly, I am Jennifer Roig-Francolí. I am the creator of The Art of Freedom for Conscious Living and Masterful Artistry. I'm a professional violinist. I have been my whole life. And I'm also the host of the Facebook group, the free Facebook group called The Musician's Advantage. I am a coach, I'm an Alexander Technique teacher, and I specialize in helping musicians feel better in mind, body, and spirit so that they can really, really fully enjoy their music making. Like now, today. I don't want you to have to wait until your pain is gone. You should be able to start relieving that sooner rather than later. So at the end of today's presentation, I'm going to tell you about a very special program that I have. And just for people who are watching this video, between today and tomorrow, I have a very special offer that I want you to reach out to me about if what I'm saying makes sense to you. If you're curious about learning more, I want to tell you about something that I'm giving away just to people watching this. Hello, Angel. Oh, that's so sweet. Angel says Jennifer's a fantastic teacher. Thank you, Angel. I really appreciate that. Angel is one of my students, and she is incredible. She is a harpist, and it's just unbelievable how she's taken herself from having chronic pain in multiple areas, lots and lots of pain that the doctors told her would never go away. And she is now able to play pain-free, and she is just incredibly creative. So I'm so happy you're here, Angel. It was great. Okay, so diving into this topic, the connection between concentration and pain. So if you're watching this, you're probably a musician, and I would bet money that you've been taught to concentrate in order to improve as a musician. So just put in the comments a yes or a thumbs up if you have been taught in the past or present to concentrate. And I would, again, I'd like bet $1 million that if you went to school, your teachers told you to concentrate in order to learn, right? I mean, it seems like a no-brainer. In fact, it seems just ridiculous that I would even hint at the possibility that concentration is not the answer. But that's why this topic is so incredibly important, because what I'm going to tell you is actually very counterintuitive and against the mainstream wisdom, which I believe is wrong. So I'm going to dive into all of that here. First of all, I want to talk about the way people usually think about concentration. And a really good way for us to illustrate that is if you know about the sculpture called The Thinker, created by Auguste Rodin. and I don't know if I'm saying that, I don't speak French very well, but Rodin was a French sculptor who created the thinker, and we've all learned about the thinker in school, in art class, and I'm sure you can probably conjure up an image in your mind, but let me demonstrate. The thinker is a large bronze statue of a man with furrowed brow. I was trying to figure out how to share my screen while I'm doing this live video because I wanted to show you the picture, but I couldn't figure it out fast enough. So just going to demonstrate the furrowed brow and the fist, and he's leaning forward and he's actually twisting his whole body and leaning his elbow on the opposite leg, and it's just a very heavy, concentrated, just tight, compressed picture of a man. And I'm telling you, he does not look particularly happy. He doesn't look like he's sitting there having fun. Okay, have you seen, you know what sculpture I'm talking about, right? If you've seen it, just tell me yes so that I can see that I'm connecting with you in your imagination there. But anyway, even if you don't know about that statue and you can't picture it in your mind's eye, I want you to just think for a moment. In fact, concentrate really hard, imagining yourself sitting at a desk, filling out a form with all kinds of specific information, and you're trying to remember certain things to fill out the form. You don't really want to be there, but this form is essential for you to fill out. Maybe it's a tax form. If you've ever filled out any kind of a tax form, I mean, I suppose some people enjoy doing that. I don't particularly enjoy it. Do you enjoy filling out tax forms? So maybe if you're an accountant, you do. And thank God for accountants who enjoy doing that. But most people do not enjoy that, so that's just an idea. Or any other thing that can you remember being in school and being forced to sit there and maybe do an SAT test, or even just a simple math assignment that was not easy for you? Can you remember sitting there and concentrating on it because you wanted to get it done, or you had to get it done, you wanted to get a good grade? Or, oh, hi, Jennifer. Jennifer says no to tax forms. I am totally with you. Yeah. So can you imagine right now what that's like? Can you remember? And can you actually just take a moment and get yourself into the physical state of concentration, the concentration required to do that activity for you? Okay, so if you can connect to that, I would love for you to check in with yourself right now and ask yourself, what's happening to me? What's happening to my body as I am concentrating hard, as I'm imagining concentrating hard on concentrating hard on imagining concentrating? What's happening to your body right now? And what's happening to your mood? Okay. One of the essential principles of what I teach, so again, my method, I call it the Art of Freedom method, but it's very largely based on the principles of the Alexander technique, of which I'm a certified teacher. And one of the principles that I teach to, one of the foundational principles of all my work, is that the mind, the body, the soul, the emotions, the spirit, the whole self cannot be divided. We try to do it all day long. We try to think, and we even believe that it's possible because we think of mental activities and we think of physical activities. Well, there is no such thing. So even if you're thinking about filling out a tax form or doing a math problem, you might think that's a mental activity, but you can't engage in that activity without your body, obviously. And if you're thinking, guess what? Thoughts are not abstract. Thoughts are neurons in the brain firing and wiring together. Are we on the same page? Give me a yes or thumbs up if you're with me so far. Do you believe that you are a unified entity and it is not possible to take the mind and like take it out of the body? Well, I suppose there are those who believe in out-of-body experiences of the mind, but I'm not going to go there right now. I'm talking about our normal everyday experience, not the dream state, going into other planets or whatever. I'm talking very practically right now. The mind and the body and the emotions are intimately connected. We cannot separate them. Okay, as much as we might think we can, they're one thing. You are one entity. You are one thing. Okay, when you make music, glad to see a thumbs up over there. Yes, Jennifer, you are with me. I like your name, by the way, Jennifer. Good name. Hello, Mayumi. Mayumi says, I often find myself holding my breath when I try to focus on something I don't want to do or don't like. That leads to muscle tension. Yes. Okay, so this is great. This is a very, very specific thing that Mayumi has noticed. When she concentrates, doing something, like focusing on something, especially if she doesn't want to do it or doesn't like to do it, she holds her breath. This is nearly universal. We all do this, but most of the time we're not aware that we do that when we concentrate. And I would venture to say that it actually also happens with things that we really like to do or things that we are passionate about. Because, well, I'm going to go off onto a tangent if I talk more about that. I'm going to stick with, and I'm very good at going off onto tangents and digressing because everything's connected. But yes, the thing is that your mental state is absolutely intimately connected to what's going on in your body and your emotions. And Jennifer also says, yes, I do this when I'm playing. I know it. Good. How many of you out there have ever caught yourselves disturbing your breath or holding your breath or breathing shallowly while you're playing your instrument? I would bet you that everybody out there, everybody watching this, if you're a musician, I would bet that you interfere with your breathing when you play. I do it. Everybody does it. But the thing is, most of us are not aware of it. And even if we are aware of it, we don't really know what to do about it. And the problem with holding the breath is exactly what Mayumi said. It leads to muscle tension. Okay. So are you starting to see where this is going? Remember, this video is about the connection between concentration and pain. Now, if you start to link up the way you're thinking with the effect in your body, in particular your musculature, you start to link up your thinking with your body, and they are always connected because every single thought that you ever have running through your mind is reflected by your body instantaneously, just like that. Every single thought. And how many thoughts do we have every day? Many. I don't know. Many, many thoughts run through our head. Constantly there are thoughts. So there is a constant exchange going on with the body that's simply reflecting what's going on in the mind. Now, if you're concentrating and you're concentrating in the way that this is really important. If you're concentrating in the way that most people think about concentrating, the way most people were taught to concentrate, then that kind of thinking is a narrowing concentration that increases the tension in your whole system. Your muscles do take that on. They reflect the narrowing of your mind, and the muscles also narrow. Now, if you're wanting to be fully expressive and free in how you're playing your music, then you don't want that narrowing, compressing effect going on in your body, because that makes it harder for your muscles to move and be free and respond to the emotional impact of the music. It's harder for you to be expressive when you are compressing your muscles, when there's excess tension. As an aside, tension is not bad. Without tension, you'd be a puddle on the floor. You wouldn't be able to do anything. But what we want to develop is the ability to regulate the tension in the system so that we are using the appropriate amount of tension, which is almost always, if not always, less than what we're used to using. We need to be able to, first of all, recognize that there is excess, that we're using excess tension to do what we're doing. And then we have to know how, if we want to reduce the tension, we need to have the ability to do so. It's a skill. Being aware of subtle changes in your overall tension levels is a skill, and it requires practice to become that sensitive to what's actually going on that subtle level. But it's absolutely essential to be able to recognize the tension and let go of it, and yet still be able to focus. Because of course, if you're not focusing, then your mind's all over the place, and you can't have a clear intention, and you can't carry out that clear intention to create the music you want to create. So that brings me to a really important point, my next major point that I'm going to make in this presentation. But before I talk about true concentration, which the other kind isn't really, I just want to check over here and again say hello to everybody who's joining me. I want to remind you that if you're not in my free Facebook group yet, I hope that you'll join. I'm the host of the Musician's Advantage Facebook group. It's free, and I teach all kinds of stuff about how to feel better in your mind and in your body, and how to let go in a way that you can be free and expressive in your music and be very successful as a musician. So come join my Facebook group if you're not there yet. And please stay to the end if you can, or come watch the replay if you can't watch the whole thing now. But at the end of the presentation, I want to give you a very special opportunity that's only for people watching this video, and it's only going to be good for today and tomorrow. And today is May 18th. So this offer is only good for people watching this today and tomorrow. So make sure you see the end now or later, so that if this is interesting to you, you can grab that bonus gift that I'm going to give you. Okay, so hello, Trisha Bonner. Hey, I'm so glad that you're here. Where are you? I would love to know where everybody's from. It's always so fun to see how we're connected around the planet. Okay, so I've been talking about concentration in the way that we're used to thinking about concentration. It's the way that our families probably taught us to concentrate. It's the way our teachers taught us to concentrate. It's the way we picked up from our culture. And I talked about the thinker and this type of concentrating, which is that compression, that tightness, and that heavy downward energy is what we associate with concentration. Also, even if you don't think of it as heavy or downward, if you're not aware of that, you're still thinking of narrowing your focus, right? You're honing in on making this one thing that you're concentrating on so important, okay? Are you aware of how serious we get when we concentrate that way? Yes? Give me a thumbs up if you get serious when you concentrate. There's nothing wrong with being serious, but there is a quote that I absolutely love, which is from the Alexander Technique world. There was a wonderful Alexander Technique teacher named Marjorie Barstow, and she used to say, the Alexander Technique is too serious to be serious about. And I say, serious music, aka classical music. You know, notice that we call classical music serious music. It's not by accident, because classical musicians tend to concentrate and get serious, right? Well, I say classical music is too serious to be serious about. So why don't we learn a new way to approach what we're doing that allows us to focus, that allows us to learn and absorb information and be responsive and quick and expressive and creative. Isn't that what you want? If you want that, say yes. I'd love to see who wants that. Who wants to have fun when making serious music? Me. I want to have fun. I think that the topic I'm talking about right now is extremely serious, because if people keep concentrating for a lifetime in the way that I've been describing, yes, they increase their tension, and that tension leads to pain, guaranteed, down the road. Sooner or later, those people who concentrate in the way that I described, that narrows everything, they're going to have less fun. I promise, less fun. And even if they're super successful as professionals, which many great concentrators are, their lives are often out of balance. They're not enjoying other areas of their lives. And I guarantee that there is physical and or emotional pain going on there, because there's no way around it. That kind of tightening concentration will lead to pain. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for any of my students. I don't want that for my private coaching clients. I don't want that for anybody in my group programs. And I don't want that for you. I don't know who you are. I know who some of you are, but there are going to be people watching this on YouTube or wherever when I put it up there, or on Facebook. And if I don't know you, I don't know you, but I want you to enjoy life, enjoy making music without pain. One of my missions in life is to help you learn the things that I've learned that allow me to enjoy my life, enjoy my music making, enjoy connecting with people like this, and really be super efficient. I'm Swiss. It's very important to me to be super efficient and get things done fast. I don't want to waste time. But I don't want to concentrate in the way that causes pain. So let's talk about a different way to concentrate. And I want to say hello to Agnes. Hey, it's so good to see you here, Agnes. I hope you're doing well. Will you send me a message and tell me how you've been? I haven't heard from you or seen you in so long. Agnes was in one of my group programs a while back, and we still do this in the group all the time, Agnes, thanks to you. Agnes did this a lot, and so now we do this a lot, and every time I think of you, Agnes. Okay, so back to concentration. So Alexander railed against that kind of concentration that I've described. But that's not true concentration as far as I'm concerned, and as far as what Alexander taught. There is a way to concentrate that has nothing to do with what most people think. The way I like to think about concentration for myself is to, first of all, notice that the word concentrate is very similar to the word concentric. It has the same roots of the word. Concentric means with a center. Okay? But the old way, the usual typical way of concentrating makes something outside of you central. So if you're filling out a tax form, you're making that tax form your center. You're kind of taking yourself outside of yourself to make that happen, to focus on that thing over there. And that thing over there and getting it done becomes more important than your center, your centeredness, and your overall well-being. Now, wouldn't it be nice if you could make your well-being, your joy, your life force, your happiness more important and more central to your experience than whatever you're doing out there with your hands, for example? And guess what? Most of us use our hands to fill out the tax forms, and we also use our hands to, guess what? Play our instruments. When you're in an orchestra, how much do you concentrate on? Well, that's kind of a trick question. I was going to say, how much do you concentrate on the conductor? Well, we're supposed to concentrate on the conductor. Anybody in an orchestra knows that a lot of people actually don't pay attention to the conductor. So maybe that's not a very good example. But if you're practicing at home by yourself, let's say that, and you're looking at the music in front of you, and you really want to get it, and you want to learn it, and you want to get it right, and you want to learn this piece, and it's important to you. Well, you concentrate on what you're doing over there. You make the music out there, the sheet music, into a central focus point, which is not you. Okay, so you are prioritizing. Oh, Jennifer, you're a conductor, right? I think you know what I'm talking about. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. We ought to be making the conductor a central focus point. However, you still want that center point to be secondary to yourself as a central point, right? Okay, so anyway, whatever it is you're doing out there needs to be secondary in your sense of priorities to your experience of being yourself, paying attention to what's going on inside of you as well as what's going on outside of you. You have to come first. You and the experience of your body, mind, self, your emotions, whatever is going on in you in this moment. Here, right now, you're watching this video, but you are way more important to you than anything going on in front of you on the screen. Your well-being is way more important than what you're hearing or what you're seeing or what you're feeling in the energy in the space or what somebody in the next room is talking about or what the pixels on the screen are doing. But how many of us lean forward to take in what's on the screen? I bet you now everybody's changing their posture, right? Right. So anyway, my point is the way we tend to concentrate makes something else a center and makes you secondary to what that thing out there is. And that's backwards. So what if you thought of concentration as concentric circles around you as the center? So let's just experiment really quickly. I don't want to take too much time with this, and my videos tend to get too long, so I don't want to make you be here too long. So, but right now, let's just experiment for a moment. As you're sitting there or standing there, wherever you are, just notice yourself and ask yourself, what am I noticing about myself right now? What am I noticing about my body? What am I noticing about what I'm hearing? Can I take in the sounds? Let the sounds come to me, because I'm more important than what I'm hearing. How about what I'm seeing in front of me, or to the left or to the right? Can I take in what I'm seeing and let it come to me without trying to go out and get it or make something happen? Can I receive what's coming towards me and just be open to receiving? The wonderful thing about being centered and being central to your experience is that you are able to receive all kinds of information, and you're more responsive to the information that's coming to you. So for instance, again, if you are in an orchestra, I've played in orchestras many times over many years for my whole life, until recently. I'm not doing much of that anymore. But I know what it's like to play in an orchestra. And it would seem that the conductor's the center, right? That would make sense. But it's not, because every single person is a center. And so for me personally, I am the most important person in my life. Who else is going to be with me 24/7? Nobody, thankfully, right? I'm with me 24/7 though, so I better enjoy being with myself. So I want to make sure that I'm healthy, and I want to make sure that I'm doing my utmost to be healthy if I'm not. And that means sound and mind and body and spirit. That's more important to me than anything else out there. But I want to make music if I'm in an orchestra, and I want to play well with those around me, and I want to be with the conductor. So I want to be really intimately connected with everything around me so that I can respond instantly to any changes that are necessary for me to respond to. So when I'm centered, I'm actually more open and I can receive what I'm seeing from the conductor. And I can respond instantly because I don't have excess muscular tension blocking me from being able to move and change quickly. Also, my technique will move much more. I'll have much more facility if I'm here and I'm not off balance over here, working really hard and concentrating with a lot of tension. If I'm back here centered and open, my fingers are going to move much more easily, much more quickly, because my mind is free to move more quickly. And my mind is free to go in different directions. If the conductor decides to do something different that he or she has never done before, I want to be able to respond instantly, which means I need to not have any preconceived ideas. Even though we've practiced before, it could still be different in the concert. Has anybody ever played in a concert with somebody else and the other person does something unexpected that you need to respond to? Well, wouldn't it be nice if you could respond instantly and not be fazed by that? You can do that much more easily if you are open and free like this in your mind, and your muscles are free to respond and change. It's a creative, receptive state. That allows a flow state. That allows real inspired art to happen. It's much more challenging, and it's always going to be more limited if you're concentrating in that way of making something else your center, making something else so important. Okay, it's just not going to be, the music's just not going to be as good as if you're open and free, and you have an open, responsive mind, and therefore an open, responsive body. Does this make sense? Are you with me, everybody? I would love to get your feedback. So I'm just going to take a moment and ask you to share one thing. Some of you are on the phones, and I know it's hard to text on the phone, but send me some emojis, ups, or if you hate it, just give me thumbs down. I don't care. I really just want true, honest feedback. And if you like what I'm sharing, if it makes sense, then, and if you know other musicians that could benefit from thinking this way, I'd be so grateful if you would share this video and invite people to join my Facebook group. It's free. There's a ton of content in there to help you further. And I see Trisha says yes with 2 exclamation points. So thank you. I'm so glad you're on the same page with me here, that it makes sense. And so I do, and Jennifer says it is all making so much sense. That's great. So am I making it clear how there's a kind of concentration, which is how we're used to thinking of concentrating? I challenge you to actually, next time you're practicing, check in with yourself and see if you're concentrating. And if you are, you don't have to stop, but I want you to get to know what that habit is like. Link it up with how you're thinking. Link up how you're thinking with how you're feeling in your body. Link that up with your emotions. Very often when we have a passionate emotion, we concentrate and we get intense, right? That's not helpful to making music. It gets in the way, even though it feels right. It's not helpful. You want feelings and passionate emotions to travel easily and freely through you so you can express your heart. You want to be moved by the music so that you can move others through your music. I'm getting off onto a tangent again, sorry. Anyway, are you seeing that there's a kind of concentration that causes you to get tense and therefore is going to cause pain down the road? I'm not just talking about physical pain, but most musicians are in physical pain. Research proves that. There was a study in Australia, it's like 84% of orchestral musicians have experienced or are experiencing pain, physical pain, anxiety, depression. 84%, that's crazy. That's like way too many musicians in pain. And it's not just in Australia, and it's not just in orchestral musicians. So there's that kind of concentrating that will cause pain. But how many people know that there's a different way to concentrate, right? There's absolutely a different way to concentrate. And another way of thinking about it, there was an Alexander teacher named Frank Pierce Jones who studied with Alexander himself. He talked about having a unified field of attention. Unified field of attention. Wow, what's that? Imagine if you had a unified field of attention that was like I've been talking about concentric circles. What if it's so unified? There's just like one, you're aware of the oneness of everything and you're in the center of it. And you get to communicate and connect to all of it. And you don't have to do it by creating tension. There's like no effort involved to concentrate that way. But you get to quicken your mind that way. It's creative, it's fun, and you get to bring your whole self into the creative process in a way that is free of pain and stress, anxiety, performance anxiety. All those types of pain and suffering can be traced back to some form of negative concentration. So, did I blow your minds today? I don't know if I blew your minds, but hopefully it added a little bit of a new slant to this idea. Maybe it's going to make you question, be curious, think a little differently. And I would encourage you, again, join my Facebook group if you're not there, and we can continue the discussion there. Before I end, I want to make sure you know that I have something called the Musician's Advantage Jumpstart. And I'm starting a new session of that. It's a 30-day intensive, which is, I shouldn't even use the word intensive, because it's just like, yeah, it's not a helpful word, intensive, because it makes you think of concentrating intensely. My Jumpstart program is fun, it's simple, it's easy, but I call it an intensive because you get so much value in a short amount of time. But that's because I give you really simple, quick things to do, just a few minutes every day. So I have something called awareness etudes that come from a hands-free way of teaching Alexander technique called Primal Alexander, created by my partner Mio Morales. And it's just an incredible way to learn these skills of concentrating without tension. And I teach it all online. I don't even teach in person anymore, like since years before the pandemic hit, because I can reach more people and help you in a way that you can really get that you're the one making the changes. It's not because of an Alexander teacher putting hands on, which is a wonderful experience, granted, and I know how to do that. I was trained in that, did it for years, and it just feels great. But I love teaching without my hands because it empowers my students to think for themselves and to realize that all it takes is a simple little shift in their own thinking with a little bit of practice every day, and it's incredible the results my students get. My students tend to come to me because they have pain, very, very often physical pain. In fact, I'd say most of my students have some kind of physical pain, whether it's carpal tunnel or tendonitis or neck pain, back pain. I've gone through that myself, and I'm on the other side. Like, that was a long time ago. I don't have any back pain anymore. Unless, occasionally I do, but then I know why. It's because I was thinking a certain way and I know how to stop. So my students come because they have pain, and it's common for my students to learn how to get out of pain and actually be pain-free within weeks. You can go to my Facebook group and see there are tons of testimonials. A recent one from last Sunday, which was lovely, from a cellist who has tried everything for years, including hands-on Alexander technique. And within 2 weeks of my Jumpstart program, she said her pain was totally gone. So I'm not exaggerating. Go read what other people have to say about this, but ask me about the Jumpstart program that's starting May 30th. If you're curious, just send me a message or send me an email to jennifer@artoffreedom.me. Just ask me about it. Tell me you're curious. Tell me you're interested. And I have a short questionnaire for you so that I can get to know you, see if this program is actually right for you, and we'll go from there. But you got to ask me. You got to reach out to me. So do it now if you're at all interested, so that we can have a personal exchange and I can tell you more and we can see if this would be the best thing for you. It's not just for physical pain. People come to me for performance anxiety. Some people just want to improve their skills because they realize they bring too much tension to their instruments. This is a way to be liberated from that, and you get to do it yourself. So I'll just tell you what to do, a little bit of this and that for a couple of minutes every day, and it's pretty amazing the progress people make. So ask me about that. And if you do, today is, I have to check, May 18th. Today or tomorrow, I have a special bonus just for you because you're watching this video, and anybody you want to share this video with, you think might be interested, just mention the video or have your friends mention this video, and I will give you a free wellness session. That's a private session with me, and it's like a $200 value. I will give it to you for free if you sign up for the Jumpstart program. And there are also other bonuses that end, I think I also do, I'm trying to remember because I changed my bonuses, but I think right now I'm offering a free personal video review, which again, it's like a couple $100 value, where you send me a little video, just a short little thing, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes of whatever you want. And I'll give you very specific, detailed information about what I see with my trained eyes. I'll tell you very specific things about what you're doing with your whole self that may be getting in your way. And I'll give you very specific feedback and suggestions for how you might think about this differently. That's for people who sign up for the Jumpstart program by tomorrow. And then I'm also offering a free week of the program for people who sign up by May 30th. And May 30th is the deadline. It's like you've got to sign up by the deadline. But I would love, if you're curious, if you're at all interested, reach out to me right now. Don't wait, because people tend to procrastinate and put it off. I want you to get the benefits now. Don't wait months until the next time I do this, and I'm never exactly sure when the next time is either. So if you have any kind of pain, why wait and live with that any longer? And it's funny because many of the people who come to me have been watching my videos for a long time before taking the step. And then they finally start a program with me and they're like, oh my God, I should have done this years ago. Don't be one of those. And if you are, don't wait until next year, okay? I'm just saying. And by the way, there's a 100% money back guarantee on the Jumpstart program. You have absolutely nothing to lose. So if you want to know more, just message me, mention this video, and we'll chat. Okay, so thank you so much for being here and watching this video. Please share it with your friends, your groups, anybody who could benefit from thinking a little differently, or a lot differently, about the way they think and concentrate when they play. It is there is a key. There is a really, really important key in what I've told you today, that if you learn how to stop doing that and you learn how to concentrate without all that excess tension, it's life-changing. I'm telling you, it changes everything in your life. I am the testimony to that, because my posture, when I was a teenager, it was like my friends and I would say, we need to do something about our posture, don't we? Well, a lot of people think Alexander technique is about posture, but it's actually just a nice side effect. It's really about getting to know yourself, your habitual ways of thinking and moving, so that you can really get yourself out of suffering pain mode and fully enjoy what you're doing with freedom and just lots of love and light and all the good stuff. So I want that for you. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. And come to my Facebook group. I'll see you there. Oh, Margie, I just saw you're here. Hey, so good to see you. Well, I wish I could see you, but great to see that you're here. I hope all is well with you and your family. So great. Thanks a lot for watching. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Take care, and lots of love to all of you. Bye-bye.